Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Full Force podcast here on Niche Sports. I'm Nathan Smith. Unfortunately, Dan isn't here today, but I am glad to be joined by Jake McHugh. How are you getting on?
I'm good, thank you. Glad to be here. Nice to be on.
And we're coming up to a week and a half, 2 weeks until your fight in Newcastle for Octagon. How are you preparing for that fight, and how is camp going?
So camp's gone really, really well. So next week will be my last week of training, and then this week was my last week of really, really hard training, and then next week I'll start to taper off a little bit, leading up to fight week. But overall, camp's gone really, really well. Um, I had to do it. I had to do it over Christmas, obviously, because I'm fighting in January. But that was fine. That went all smoothly. I can't complain really.
And this is an opponent you're familiar with. You fought on the Octagon Challenge series. Is is there lessons you took from that fight where it didn't quite go your way into this one? And what are they?
Yeah, definitely. So big one is don't shoot head first into a guillotine. That was me number one thing. um, the fight didn't last. The fight didn't last very long. The fight didn't last very long. So there wasn't a lot I could take from it. There wasn't a lot of experience, but there was definitely lessons learned there. Definitely lessons learned over that whole experience in the Oktagon Challenge. That'll hopefully that'll help me take my career to the next levels where it needs to go. And I've made the adjustments. I've made the changes. I know what I need to do next, and that's what we've been focusing on over this camp.
Is that something from coming from sort of like a reality show setting? Is that almost like a precursor to the career you want to have, where obviously if you want to make it to the top, there's going to be a lot of attention, and to get that lesson quite early on in your career, what was that like?
That was brilliant. I said that from as soon as we finished the show, that like one of the biggest things I'll take from being on there is all the exposure to all the cameras, all the interviews that we had to do constantly, all like the little disruptions that take place like throughout the whole show due to filming and whatever Octagon wanted us to do on that day, while we were all cutting weight, while we were all having all these like external factors in on everything that we were doing. So definitely really good experience to prepare me for like the higher levels of the sport, where I'll just be bombarded constantly by media and questions and stuff like that.
Is it going into this fight? Obviously, you're fighting in Newcastle. Is there a part of it that is the preparation is completely different, because you're fighting in an arena on an octagon card. So do you feel that it's slightly different now in terms of this fight to the previous encounter?
This fight, yeah. So the fight with Armin now definitely different to the previous encounter that we had before. I've had a lot more time to prepare for him. I'll have my team in my corner. So I've had a lot more time to prepare for him. I'll have my team in the corner. But at the end of the day, it's not really that different. We're still going to be in there, and we're still going to be fighting. But I just have my head a little bit more screwed on this time, hopefully.
And obviously, while that loss isn't on your record, you are unbeaten on the record. It is there almost that is that not revenge, possibly, is that sort of driving you to go even harder in this fight, and make sure you get that win, and make it 2-0?
It sort of, yeah, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's revenge. It's not like I don't dislike him personally. It's not. I don't. I don't take it personally that he beat me. It's more for the fact I need to, or I want to prove it to myself that everything I sort of said, everything that I say I am, I now can prove I am. If that makes sense. I Yeah. So it's more about just proving it to myself, proving that like this is where I'm meant to be. If that makes sense.
Obviously, you have fought on Octagon previously, and you scored a win there. What was that like? Because we spoke to Corey Fry, who was on that card in Germany, or fought in Germany as well. And for your first professional fight, what an unbelievable atmosphere that must have been.
Yeah, well, it was boss. Like I said this from the start, having your pro debut in such a huge, on such a huge platform, on like the biggest show in German history, that was unreal. Like the atmosphere in there was incredible, and like I don't know, I just feel very lucky to have that experience in my life. Even if I'd have never fought again after that, that was like a once in a lifetime amazing experience to have. It was unbelievable.
Was that a draw to Oktagon in the sense that they do have these massive, sort of fight cards in these arenas across Europe that perhaps you wouldn't get in some of the other promotions, especially at an early part of your career?
Yeah, definitely. So when I first got told about doing the show, I was buzzing. Do you know what I mean? Being able to travel and fight is one of the big things that I was really looking forward to in a pro career, and to be able to do it so early on in my pro career is unbelievable. You know what I mean? Usually you have to work your way through the regional scenes to even get slightly noticed. So I am incredibly lucky in that sense. I've had a lot more opportunities um, than a lot of people get, especially on the UK scene. So I'm very grateful for that, and I'm love to be a part of Octagon. Do you know what I mean?
Is that in a sense, because obviously, yeah, as you say, a lot of people will sort of manifest and dream to that big arena goal. Is that almost a different type now that you've seen it happen, and now it's just a case of pushing forward and getting more wins in front of more sold out crowds?
No, I'm still like a what's the word? So I'm um, still very humbled every single time that I get that I'm in these sort of positions. I'm never ever going to take any of this for granted. I know how amazing it is to have these opportunities, and every single time I do get one of these opportunities, whether it's to go away with my team to help a teammate prepare for a fight, or whether it's to perform in such, whether it's to fight in such a big arena in front of a huge crowd on a huge stage. These are the moments that like I really like to take in life, if that makes sense. It's still very grateful for absolutely everything. I'll never ever overlook a single experience that I'll ever have, especially in these types of situations.
Do you think that mindset stands you in good stead then, as it is probably quite easy to get into your own hype, and if you stay humble throughout that's going to stand you in really good stead for your future?
Yeah, hopefully. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I don't want to ever lose my head. So I just try and take it as it comes. You know what I mean? It is what it is, and I'm just grateful I get to be in the place where I am. I get to train for a job, not like the best thing in the world to me anyway. So I'm just grateful to be where I am every day around amazing people who are able to push me to my limits.
And just the last one on your previous fight, you fight Ivan Klevic, you secure the victory. Those 60 seconds afterwards, can you just walk me through your emotions at that point?
Yeah, so I was a little bit ill just before, like the week before the fight. So I was absolutely destroyed physically. He slammed me on my head, and it hurt. So I literally just, as soon as the fight ended, I thought I was going to throw up. So that was all that was going through my head. I went and lay down in the middle of the cage and was just looking up at the lights, thinking, if I get up right now, I might spew everywhere. um, but but yeah, once we got to the back and everything had settled, the feeling sort of sunk in, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I've just done that. For like 2 or 3 weeks after, I was just like, I can't believe, saying to myself, can't believe I just done that. Can't believe I just fought in front of all these people. It's an unbelievable experience.
And obviously you fought in front of so many people. What is your dream venue? Where would you ideally in perhaps a few years have your big fight? What's your dream venue?
Dream venue? Oh, I don't know. I mean, proper dream venue. It would be Madison Square Gardens. You know what I mean? That's the one every fighter aspires to fight in, or the MGM arena.
Yeah, no, and yeah, that is exactly. Is that your pathway you wanting to break into? Perhaps, obviously, very early on in your career still, but is the goal the UFC, or are you just looking to build whatever way possible, wherever?
I I try not to look too far in the future, so all my goals right now are set on becoming the Octagon featherweight champ, and that's it. That's my only goal. Try and yeah, try not to look too far ahead. Trying to just focus on where I am right now.
Yeah, and obviously you train out at Next Gen Liverpool. Having spoken to a few of the people that train out there, it just seems like such a, I don't want to say brotherhood, but it's it seems like such, everyone's got such connection. Everyone wants to get better, and so what's it like training there? And how did you end up at Next Gen? Have you always been there, or have you moved for a few gyms?
Yeah, so it's an unbelievable environment at Next Gen. Everyone, there's no like some gyms, like everyone's sort of out to get each other. Everyone's got an ego. It's not like that at Next Gen. Everyone just wants everyone to improve. You know what I mean? There's like even the sparring, you have the hardest spars ever, but there's no ego in it whatsoever. It's just teammates trying to help each other improve so we can all get to the places that we want to go. Everyone's always got time for everyone. If that makes sense. I could go up to any member of the pro fight team or even the amateur fight team and be like, "Can you come on? Can you come in an extra day for me so I can practice this?" And every single one of them will be like, "Yeah, 100%, no worries." So like even over Christmas, I did a lot of training with Nathan Fletcher, who didn't need to come in, but he did come in just so I could like do a little bit more stuff. Um, I've forgotten your other question.
How did you end up at Next Gen?
Oh,
Were you always there, or?
yeah, so I've always been at Next Gen. So my dad originally bought out a Next Gen like years and years and years ago, and then he sort of brought me along to the JIT, and then I've just always been at Next Gen, and I will always be at Next Gen for as long as I fight.
And that must mean a lot to you as a young fighter, that you have people like Nathan Fletcher and people that have done some great things in their career, willing to take that time out of a busy period and come to help you prepare.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know what I mean? I look up to absolutely everybody in that gym. They've all done amazing things. Like I aspire in my career to do the things that they've done. Do you know what I mean? It's a really good environment to be around where we all push each other and we all want to be the best we can possibly be, basically.
And who would you say out of the people coming up with you now are the guys we should be looking out for, as well as yourself?
Well, I mean, I think that there's going to be quite a few more over the next maybe year, 2 years, 3 years. Going to be quite a few more next gen guys in the UFC. I reckon Nathan Fletcher will probably be in the UFC very soon. Liam Gittins has just won the title, so he'll probably be in the UFC soon. Luke Riley I imagine, will win the title very soon, maybe this year. He'll probably be in the UFC soon. Do you know what I mean? There's just so much talent in that gym. It's unbelievable.
And Dan would get on me if I didn't mention this. We spoke to Luke Riley and Adam Cullen about who's got the worst music taste in the gym, and unfortunately, your name was brought up. Have you got any defence to that? They did. It's heavy metal Slipknot music. So.
I have no defense whatsoever. I do have the worst music taste in the gym, but it's my music taste and I like it, so it's the best music taste in the gym, realistically, isn't it? I listen to everything. Adam Cullen listens to like Da Baby and all that crap. So yeah, I listen to cool stuff like Johnny Cash and I don't know.
Johnny Cash, I can get that shout. I can't lie. That's good. But and then your plans for 2024, because obviously you're coming in. You had a good year last year. What are you hoping to get achieved in terms? Obviously, hoping the fight goes well on the 27th. Are you trying to get a lot of fights this year?
Yeah, so I'm looking to fight minimum 3 times. I'm looking to fight about 4 times. So I want to do wherever they go in April. I know there's probably going to be one in July, and then there'll be one towards the end of the year that if I can get on, I'll get on as well. So I want to stay very active. I want to have between 6 and 8 or 9 fights over this year and next year. Definitely, I want to just smash it out not as quickly as possible. I'm not in any rush or anything, but I want to stay active and I want to fight as much as possible.
What is the importance of staying active as a young fighter? Is that just the case? You're getting those reps in and those big occasions early on.
So it's that. It definitely is that, but it's also maintaining high level competition experience. especially where I'm so like young in my career. So, for example, the likes of I don't know, like a Max Holloway probably could sit out for like a year and come back and be absolutely no ring rust, and be be fine. But like I prefer to have that like high level competition experience constantly. That's why I'm always doing JIT comps. That's why as soon as this fight's done, I'm going over to trials just so I can place myself in these situations in these high stress environments all the time, and I can sort of figure out the best way for me to deal with them and me to deal with the build up to the situation and all of that stuff. And also, just because I really like fighting, like I haven't chosen this just to be, I haven't chosen this career just out of the blue. I really like being in the cage, so I just want to be in there as much as possible.
So it's almost a case of you're putting yourself in those situations, see what happens, and then straight away you've got a whole lot to approach training the next week with.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely. So like it's I try and approach it as much like a science as possible. So like always take little things from every situation in the training room and in all of the fights, and then you like make adjustments, and then you go back and then you retest, and then you make more adjustments and you retest, and then you ask your coaches for advice, and then they give you advice, and you go test out that advice. You know what I mean? So it's building yourself up in little increments like that. That's sort of how I believe in your training should go.
And we tend to ask, I know you said you don't want to look too far ahead, but we tend to ask all the fighters this, so it'd be remiss not to ask you, what sort of legacy are you looking to leave? I mean, we're so early into your career, and what sort of thing are you trying to do? Are you seeing maybe coaching other fighters, or maybe a greater purpose in this sport?
So I want to reach the highest levels that this sport can possibly reach. I thought, like, not I thought, I want to reach the highest levels in this sport. I want the toughest competition possible. I don't know, one that's my goal. So maybe something like that where people look at me and be like, you know what, he gave absolutely everything to the sport. And then after I am done fighting, I would love to go into coaching. I always wanted to be some sort of teacher growing up, so coaching would be boss. I already do coach, so being able to continue that on after fighting would be amazing. Especially helping bringing up the new like the next the next generation of athletes. Um, yeah, just that for now. Don't know. Again, don't like to think too far ahead.
That's fair enough. Does the coaching, you say you coach now, does that help you almost as a fighter, because you have to almost solve those problems for other people? Therefore, you can get that problem solving yourself for your situations in your career.
Yeah, definitely. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to go into coaching, because coach, like for me, it helps break everything down. So I have to look at things in a different way, because like for me to like do maybe a technique or a skill is like you don't have to think about it sometimes, especially in grappling where I've been doing it so long. Sometimes you don't have to think about things, but when you've got to explain it to other people, you've got to break everything down into little steps so you can properly explain yourself, and you can help somebody else understand the thing the way you understand the thing. So that's one of the reasons I got into coaching, because it helps me understand the sport better. It helps me consolidate all my knowledge. So like when I go and learn new things, I have like privates now that I've like got them to a point where like I can teach them the new things that I'm learning to help me consolidate the knowledge and help them bring their game up at the same time. If that makes sense.
Mm. And that seems like a really good sort of, because you're not the only person we've spoke to from Next Gen that coaches as well, and it just seems, again, just to touch on that environment, that everyone's so willing to help each other, that even someone as you so early in your career willing to help other young fighters learn in their trade.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Go on, sorry.
sorry, no, you go.
I was just going to say yeah. So we're like, I was basically just going to say yeah. We're all there to help each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was that online call connection kicking in, because I thought you was finished and then they come in. But it's all good. We are approaching obviously the 27th, as we said. Just to leave off today, what are we expecting? What are we to expect from you on the 27th?
Well, I'm always aiming to put the best performance I've ever given whenever I go out to fight. So the best performance I've ever given, that's what I'm aiming to put out. I want a tough fight, so hopefully it'll be a bit of a banger for you. But he's probably going to get took down, and I'm probably going to sub him.
Brilliant. Well, we look forward to it on the 27th, Octagon in Newcastle. This has been the Full Podcast. Thank you, Jake, for coming on, and we'll see you next time.
Nice one. Thank you. See you later.